let's activate our clock. So in this case, I will show how to use Windows app. So Windows app can be small like this one, or like this one, and you can organize everything by setting some preferences, enable global shortcuts, start automatically when computer starts, and other settings can be set up here. So this app is easier to use because it has also auto tracking option, and auto tracking option tracks things what you do on your machine, and it saves all the data inside your machine. So only the data which you click plus will be sent to the cloud to share with others, with me, to show what you have been doing during your workday. So all this data is stored on your machine, so it's secure, it doesn't go out, and you just select which tasks you want to share and show to others. So in here, I will tap log work number 4. It has a nice filtering system. I think it should work. Top work. Okay, it's not finding. 1, 2, 3. Okay, if I go to the main program on four. Yes. So it's here, and I think if I start the clock here, it should automatically activate the clock on my app. Yeah, so the clock activates in both. So it's in my app on the web browser and also in this application. And if I don't want to take a lot of space, I can just use it like this one. Okay, so let's jump to our Plastering application, and this week's tasks is to check out lab work number 4. So how to do slabs, ground slabs, floors, and superstructures, so roof constructions, trusses, beams, and other components and roof elements. And if we will have time, I will speak a little bit about stair lab work. Okay. Also, I checked your work, so put that comments on Trimble Connect, so you can check it out. And for fixing, you should follow the instructions in videos revision clouds in Revit. So please follow instructions how to do revisions on your drawings. On this video, I explain it, and please follow, and all the fixings and fixing mistakes should be done by showing revision clouds and explaining what things you fixed. Also, please always follow Autodesk updates. In here, you should see all updates which are available. So you should have all latest updates on your machine and your software. And also Windows updates should be also latest one. So now regarding floors, floor constructions, you can also see some videos are provided here. So we have beam system create hollow core slabs. So how to use hollow core slabs in the Revit and how to create the floors using these elements, how to create architecture floors, how to create its format, and how to create floors, just simple floors on your project. So please check out these videos. Regarding roof, so create slabs. Okay, it's format, Revit beam system, create roof structural elements. So how to create beam elements for your roof or for other locations. So check out this video. Create slabs roof. Okay, format. The allowed roof family. So you can check this instructions how to find roof families. And what's else? Create slabs, stairs. Yeah, so main videos from YouTube channel should be these for lab work number 4. So let's jump inside the Revit. And I will pause my cloud application, OneDrive, so I can nicely work without synchronization problems. Okay, let's click pause, settings, pause, and let's pause for 8 hours. Okay. Now it's paused and we can open Revit. So in here, let's see latest lab work number 3. Okay, so this one is backup version and this is the main file. So I will need to work with this file. And where's my Revit? Starting. Okay, let's click open. Let's go to the project folder. Select work in progress by date and lab work number 3, this one. Click open. So depending on which machine I open program of the file, I can get this message regarding linked files. So I can ignore if I know what this will not give me problems. So here I can see which files is not linked correctly. So it means I was using class computers. So some links is not catching up because the address is a little bit different. So it depends on situation. So if you need this information on your drawings or on your files, so you should click open, manage links, and you should go through your links and check which links is damaged. So in my case, PDF links are damaged. So I can click the link, not found. I can click reload from, and I should go to projects, locations. Let's check the address. So, okay, work in progress. And D1. So I think this one. Okay, I click open. it should automatically catch up the sheet which was used. So I check out, so the DPI is the best one, and I click OK. And the link is now relinked for my project. Now I see loaded. The same I can do with other links. So I'll reload from. In this case, I need lab work number 2. So I go up, lab work number 2, and I select this one, click open. And sheet number is 1, okay. DPI 600, okay, open. And the same for the last one. So in this case, the same file, and in this case, the same drawing. So it means the same view was used 2 times in maybe different pages and so on. Okay, so my links are done and I can save my progress so it doesn't damage my program. Oh, if it crashed, so I don't lose my work. Okay, so now I click File and I create a new version of my file. So it will be lab work number 4. I save it in my work in progress files. Okay, so let's jump in 3D model and let's look our project. Okay, so during this lecture, I will speak about ground floor, floors on the ground. Also, I will speak about floors between typical floors of the building, and also additional part will be about roof components. So the last floor will be, let's say, larger room. So I will delete one floor. So it will be like a big hall for my building. And I will create a truss system here. And let's start from the floors on the ground. So for this task, I will need only elements for my task. I click 2 times letter V and turn off all elements and select curtain wall systems. I need floors. I will need roof. And I will need walls. And from structure elements, I will need structure trusses, structure framing components, structure foundations, structure columns, and also structure beam systems. So these are the main categories which I will work at the moment. Let's check other groups. So I don't need analytical models. I don't need imported objects, and I don't need any filters. So let's make things look like this one. And let's begin from the floor construction. So in here, I also would like to see levels, so I can click all and just select all levels here. So now I see my wall foundation is in a little bit maybe wrong position. So it means wall foundation should be on this level, which is here. So I don't need a scope box category. I can hide it. So it means my perimeter walls or my structure walls should go down to this level, which is in my case minus 6.5 meters. So I select all walls, foundation walls, I think. This is simple wall. And my foundation wall is this one. Okay. And select the minus 6.5 meters. Okay, some dimensions will be lost, so on any modifications you need to be careful because during modification some objects can be deleted. So before approving deleting the dimensions, you should check out here is ID code. So you can select this one and delete one element by one, or you can export the report and let's save. Okay, I see my file name is not correct, so should save it again. Okay. So let's repeat the task. So I exported the report. So now how to work with reports. It's not so user-friendly. Close search. And here is my report. So I open the report. And here is my ID number. So I copy ID number. I go back to Revit. I go to Manage. In Manage, I look for a tool which is called Select by ID. I paste this object here and click Show. There is no one view what shows any of the highlighted elements. Search through the closed views. Okay. So the program automatically goes through all the views and is checking out in which view this dimension is provided. So in this case, it means this dimension will be deleted if I will make the modifications. So if I approve, later I will need to come back to this drawing and update my dimensions. In here I also see some mistakes because some dimensions also is in maybe wrong position, so I need to arrange it again. So the distance is the same from all directions. So always engineer should double check if the final results are correct. Okay, so let's say for me it will be okay, and I will change relation to minus 6.5. Okay, delete this dimension. So now my walls go down. This wall is, I think, not structure. Okay. And I go to this plan. So I see my dimension was deleted. Or was, I think, a little bit modified. And I can just tap here and reassign the files, the dimension here. So I have dimension between grid lines, main dimension of the building, and opening dimension here. Okay. So now regarding the ground floors. So ground floors should end to the side of the car parking wall. So it should be by the side. So it means if I click double tap and look from the plan view, so it means the line should end to the side of the bearing wall. And now I can use a join tool. And I can assign the information here, and the wall and floor construction is nicely joined. The same goes here. So I click join, and it nicely joins this location. Now regarding walls, which is not bearing walls, I can click attach and select the base and select attach to the base. And now my wall material is nicely also joined. So if my material is the same, so it will be nicely joined and I will not see any line, and I will have continuous material. If my material is different, so I will see a line and it will be separated by different material. So let's make a smaller box here. And let's extend and let's see other locations. So let's see example with a bearing wall. So this wall is bearing wall. So I have structure wall. So this is for my staircase. So this wall also should go through the construction of the floor. So it means I select minus 6.5 meters. And for this wall, I also need foundation. So I update my model by providing missing foundations and select the wall, and I have foundation. Now I need to solve this problem because I have situation here. So to solve this problem, I go to join and select elements and I join it. Now it looks nice, but if I select only the floors, So I see my floor go through the wall. So if I isolate the I isolate, so I see this gap on my bearing wall. So it's not correct. So it means I need to change joining direction. So I reset the view setting. And to change this view direction, I use join and switch join order. So this part is important and I need to switch joining order. And in this case, if I isolate element, I see now the floor is nicely cutted. So I reset the temporary hidden objects. Another problem in this situation, I see plastering on my wall. Now it's in foundation part. So if I put realistic view, so I see my plastering is inside foundation. So I need also to solve this part. So my plaster is finishing at the floor level. To solve this situation, we can choose several techniques. One technique is to make a section here, cut the wall to two parts. One part is foundation wall, which goes below the ground. Another wall is above the finish layers. Another option is to create a separate architecture wall with the finish layers and a separate structure wall with finish layers, or to use parts and modify parts of finish and update all of this construction. And the last option, we can modify wall construction by going edit and selecting edit. And in here we select section, modify type attributes. And in here we go down and click modify. And in here we can select these elements and uncheck the lock and click OK. Extension layers at the base of the wall must be adjusted. So in this case, maybe I need to move layers into the core. And click OK. Nope. Okay, so it's not working like that. So in this case, I can also select modify layer and unlock also the main layer and click OK. So what will happen in the wall bottom part? It will be separated by layer. Click OK. Click left part. And now if I select the wall, so if I move this element, it automatically should change the options. Let's try to modify it again. Edit view. Okay, these are unchecked. Maybe I need to lock these elements. Okay, let's try this one. Yeah, so now I see 3 triangles. So it means I can change position of different layers by arranging this layer. But in my case, my main bearing layer is changing position, but my foundation is not moving. So it means my foundation is attached to the finish layer. If I change the position of finish layer, so it changes foundation level. So this technique can be used, but in this case, I need to do additional modifications, maybe change locking positions and so on, because now it's not working as it's supposed to work. So in this case, it's just example how it can be done. So I will reset the settings here, modify, and we'll lock all things down here and click OK. Okay. Okay, so now I select this wall and change back to here 0. So I will use this technique which I mentioned before. So I will just split the wall in two parts, and the part which goes below the ground will be one type, and another wall will be a different type. So I just click split tool. It creates two separate walls. I select bottom wall, and from the list of walls, I select wall which is this one. So now I can see my wall is made only from concrete, no additional plastering layers, and the wall above this goes with plaster layers. And now I have nice wall for foundation part and the wall inside the building. Now solving the problem with columns. So now my columns, I also see all the foundations are inside the floor. So I need to select all the columns in entire project and change elevation of my columns to minus 6.5. Apply. Click OK. And now my foundations move down. Here I have this specific foundation, so I see the size of foundation is quite big, and it's also going inside the floor. So it means this column should be lowered maybe additional meter down, minus 1 meter. And I see in here I have several columns, so it means some columns are created by mistake, and minus 1 meter. Okay. Now it looks much better. And additionally, I have foundation slab, so I move it also to minus 6.5 meters down. So now the same like I did with the walls, I should do the joining part with the columns. So it means I join elements, and now I have this problem. My column is separated, and I have a gap here. So I need to change joining direction, so the column cuts the floor. So I click switch join direction and switch and go through all the columns and try to join. Join, switch direction. Sometimes program lets to join depending on which element I select first. I can select first floor and later column, and select column and later floor. But in this case, I think it is doing the same thing. So floor and column joining has some issues, so you need to be careful and do these modifications but manually. Here we have also a column. Join, okay. Join, switch direction. And also I see some errors because some columns is doubled in the same location. So it means it was maybe an error. Because I have two columns in the same place. So I need to delete doubling columns and leave only one. So if I select this one, I think I can delete one column in any position. So by mistake, maybe I created double columns. And program from my views, I see no error messages. So I don't see any warnings regarding my columns. Okay, so some columns are doubled and some columns is not doubled. Okay, these columns can be deleted because on this floor I don't need columns in my bearing walls because the bearing part is done by the wall. So in this case, I can delete the columns on this location and the same I think here. Because I have the bearing walls. Okay, some rooms wants to be deleted. So also if I click here, show, and I get just codes, ID codes, and I need to double check which rooms will be deleted and maybe remake some rooms. So now I will just delete them. And later, maybe I will need to fix this error. Another problem with columns and walls, we have this kind of situation. So to solve this kind of situation, it's best to split wall into two parts and just use extend tool and just move one wall and another wall to another position. So walls and columns should be separated. And it should look like this. I still have double columns here. Okay, one column, double column. Okay. Okay, so I spoke how to fix these errors regarding floors. Now regarding floor construction. So always floor construction should be selected by the manufacturer. So for getting more details, how to use any manufacturer materials and other things, you can go to the manufacturer page, and in here you can look for contacts, and in contact list you can get in touch with some people who can provide more details. These people can explain and give additional information. And also you should go to the application part and products part to check more details about the exact material. So let's say for foundation, my floors is looking more like floors on the ground. So it looks something like this one. So I can ventilated base floor, walls, intermediate floors, foundations, basement walls, in frost insulation. So in this case, I will select Lithuanian version and just use translate and change translation to English. English translate. So in solutions, I go to solutions, and in here, to English, I see some foundation details. So in my example, I think my foundation is more like this one, because we have car parking. And if I open this foundation example, translate to English, and look to the images which are provided here, I can see these walls go underground, and here I have some insulation around the walls, and later the ground will be filled up here, and it will look something like this. So it means foundation detail is more like from this example. Now regarding floors, so my floors is the 3 layers of insulation and some concrete parts. So I think more examples can be found from this part. And if I select CAD library, and in the CAD library, let's translate to English. So foundation. Insulation on the floor. So yeah, so I think the detail for my insulation is more like this one. So if I open PDF file, so it's 3 layers of insulation, some gravel, some specific layer for some geothermal heating, geotextile, and the ground earth layer. In here I have additional layer for PVC membrane and concrete, and some finish layer. So if I look to my construction, so here I have 3 layers of insulation, concrete layer, and finish layer. So if I go to type settings, so in type settings, I can see all these layers: wood layer, concrete layer, and in here I am missing one layer, which is called layer, separating layer. So it means it should be after the concrete layer. So I go here, and after the concrete layer, I insert additional layer, and this layer will be membrane layer. And then membrane layer can be 0 according to Revit application, but sometimes it's nice to see this layer. So in this case, we can put 1 millimeter for this layer, but in this case, we need to change the type to maybe substrate or something like that. So it can be visible, and it can be in this location. So now I will use the layer functions as it's supposed to be used. So I will select 0 layer, and to show this layer in my drawings, I will use just simple 2D line to represent this hydrophobic layer or separate layer, membrane layer here. So for material, I will use PVC, plastic, membrane. And I type PVC. And plastic layer is here. So I can select it from Autodesk library, but I recommend to follow the ISO material library, and the naming should be with all these density parameters and heat transfer coefficients and so on. So I will choose this PVC material for my example, and I click OK. So this is floor construction. And now the full construction of the floor. So it means I need to activate additional categories. So in this case, I need to activate side category and turn on the pads. And in this case, I will have a pad which goes down below my floor. So here's my pad. So this pad represents this 200 millimeters of sand. Later, I should have geotextile and the main ground. So if I want to see the ground layer, so I activate top surface layer, topography, and I have the ground layer. So now if I nicely make a cut of this wall, so I will have similar detail which is provided in the manufacturer page. So let's make a cut of this part, and image looks similar to the manufacturer's layer. So of course I need to put a geotextile here, and my membrane layer is located here. So later I can use a dashed line to represent this membrane layer for my drawings. So from 3D model perspective, this is correct use of all these layers. And now I will turn off topography and site, so I don't need it. Topography and site. Okay, so and also I should go through all the columns and make this fix. So if you have a lot of columns, so you will need to spend a little time to do all these fixings. Now another important part is, let's say I have my floors and I have special zone, which is maybe on different level. So let's say this new floor will be 1 meter above my basic level. And I edit the contour of this wall, and I just draw it, let's say, from this column to this column. And use trim tool, short command trim, TR, and just make this part. Now when I create floors, it's important to show span direction. So it means the direction of bearing part of the walls, which show the span direction. And of course, can put the slope arrow to make the formation of my floors for water and other slopings of the floor, so depending on the project. So now I will choose just flat floor here. An example which I want to show is using elements which is called slab edges. This part. And have a nice floor configuration here. If we look to the planary application, so in the planary we have floor construction divided to separate parts. So we can have a slab-on-grid, so it means simple slab-on-grid, additional layers for, like I showed, building pad and some openings. So now I will try to show how to do the structure slab-on-grid. So it means additional slab edges, and later I will show how to show the openings. And regarding waterproofing and other layers, so I showed in floor construction. So let's go to the example of slab edges. So slab edges are located in structure part floors, and here we have slab edges. So it means I make the slab much thicker for bearing purpose if I need to put non-bearing walls or other parts of the building. So this part is a little bit stronger and it can take additional loads. So I activate this tool. Of course, please save the progress. And now I select the line which I want to use for my slab edge. Before I do this, I should go to edit type and check all the parameters. So for material, I should use my concrete layer, high density concrete. So let's go to the concrete. Let's select high density concrete. And let's click OK. And now I will select the top part here. So the program is explaining what my slab edge will be inside my floor, and if I join, I will not see the element. So I select on join elements. So now I see my slab edge is inside my floor. So now I move vertically by 100 millimeters. So move down, and now my slab edge is below my bearing layer. And now I can use modify join tool and can join elements. And now I have additional thickness of my floor. And on this part, I can put non-bearing walls and other components. Of course, in practice, we not use often the slab edge. We often use additional floor layer. With additional floor layer, is difficult to make this kind of slopes. So slab edge is made or designed from the profile, and you can create any shape you want for the slab edge. So for this example, I also will put my wall. This is my parent wall. Let's move it down. So I will put this part in this location. And will change the parameters of wall. So it will be not structure wall. It will go from -6 meters architecture layer to -6 meters plus let's say 1 meter. And for this one, I will not need foundation. Now I select this wall and I attach it to the base. So now it will nicely join with my slab edge and my floor. So I have continuous material flow here. And for this part, I will move my floor on the top of my wall and will attach constraint part. And I can say I can attach, it will be automatically attached to the bottom. In this case, it can also damage other walls. So be careful with this automatic attachment and always double check if you use automatic attachment. So I will not attach it. I will do modifications manually and I select this wall type and select attach to the top. And now I have nice concrete flow. And if I select a larger scale, so my concrete material is nicely connected and continuous material is designed here. Of course, from construction part, if we want to use insulation or other layers, I should put insulation below my slab edge and also put insulation on the sides of this wall so I can protect it from ground and from water effect on my construction and so on. So additional modeling should be done. Maybe I need to create different type wall to solve this situation. But for this example, I wanted to show slab edge and how this wall works. And also I can use wall with plastering. So it means if I select wall with plaster, plastering will close this part, the white part, and all the finished parts will be nicely joined. Okay, so it should be joined, but I don't see. It's not joining. If I select switch join order, so in this case, maybe I need to use detach and just attach base. And join. So in this case, I need to move the line inside this location. Remove constraint and add new constraint. And finish. Don't attach. Yeah. Now my plastering goes up, connects to my floor finish, and I have a nice continuous material here. So if I turn on realistic mode, so I have nice concrete, the floors, the plastering, and now the floor finish. Of course, plastering inside the ground layer is not needed. So in this case, I should create additional type of my wall to have better representation of this situation. Okay, now regarding the voids. So voids can be designed using different tools. So in other classes, I showed how to use voids tool. So one of typical things, I can just double tap edit mode of my floor and create a void just on my floor by drawing any shape. And it will be not treated as different element. It will be treated the same as the floor. And if I need to make representation of this part, so I will need to create additional lines and so on. So for work in progress, I also would like to have additional levels for my floors. So this one is, so I will make a copy of work in progress. So this one was used for walls. So this will be used for floors. Floors. This one is walls. So for the floor part, let's turn off all elements, select floors, walls, maybe structure, column structure, framing. And edit type, maybe, okay. Here will be parameters. So I can see my floors here. So here is my floor with opening. Now I can create opening using other tools. So I can put opening by face. So I select my floor and can use the same drawing tools and create opening by face. Additional option, create vertical opening. I can create opening vertically. So I select the same floors and use the same tools. And I can create shaft opening. So I showed it how it works. So I can create the shaft opening. Also can create any shape of the shaft opening and so on. And of course should change parameters so the shaft opening cuts all the elements. And by face and vertical depends if I have sloped floors, so it can be different result, but now it is the same result for vertical and by face. Now for additional openings, I recommend to use openings from German library. So you should go to load Autodesk families and select German. In German, you should go to generic models. In generic models, you should look for rectangle and round opening and click load. Now I go back to architecture or structure part and select components. And from the components, I select openings. So opening with DS cuts the opening, but it's not making the opening through the floor completely. It creates with some depth parameter. Double D makes opening completely inside. So in this case, I also need to turn on the generic model group. And in this case, you can see it automatically creates nice symbol, round symbol. It represents opening and it creates additional dashed lines showing the opening position. And if I go to the 3D model and select make section in this position. So typical Revit tools to create openings make section through all the element. And I have these like blocks which are representing opening. And if I use this special tool or special family, So it creates just opening inside the element. So if I put shadings, so here you can see one is cutting through all the layers and another is making a cut inside the floor. So sometimes it's need to be done like that. Okay, layers, openings, slab edges, and perimeter insulation or perimeter reveals. So for these elements, you can go, I think, inside. Mhm. For perimeter insulation, also slab edge can be used. You can just change the position and the size of slab edge and use it as a perimeter insulation. Another option, we can use sweep, so sweep elements. So if I select and choose sweeping element and select the line, maybe here, okay, yeah. So this sweeping element creates object like this one, and you can create nice, I don't know in English how it's called, but around the floor. So in this example, so around the floors, we can create this nice element in which we can put some wires and so on, and it um, hides all these connection part, my plastering and my floor finish. So all these parts can be done with sweep elements, and these are more related with wall components, not with floors. But yeah, so for walls we use sweep, and for floors we use slab edge. Okay, let's leave it here. Okay, additional things. Now regarding other super construction parts, so let's go above and let's speak about floor construction between the floors. So like I showed, more detail how to use slabs on the floor you can check out in YouTube video. And now I will speak more about basics. So now the mistake is here. My column is going through several floors. So in this case, I need to divide the column and split to two parts, and one part should go uh, let's move it. Okay. So columns should be separated by the floor. So it means it should begin and end with the level of the floor. So in this case, I will select structure 0. And this one 0 structure, and in this case architecture 0. And the columns should be attached to the floor, so it means my columns ends and it should be nicely connected with floor construction. And my floor construction should be also in this case structure components and the column, attach base to the floor, and it should go inside and connect the floor main layer. So in this case, I maybe okay, vertical. It's not cutting finish layer. It's not correct. So maybe I will detach it and use and use -100. So it should go through all the layers. And in my case, all the finish layers is 120 millimeters. So it means my column should go through all the finish layers to the bearing layer. So it connects nicely to the bearing layer. And this part, maybe I can just switch join order. No. So in this case, I also need to detach it and -320 and use switch join order. And here we can see concrete part is nicely joined. If I look to the list part, so concrete is nicely joined and I have concrete connected to concrete. So regarding floors between the different floors, so we have floor construction looking like this one. So plastering layer, bearing part layer for slab elements, and finish layer with wooden finish, concrete layer, sound insulation, substrate for pipes and insulation, and all the layers looks like this one: finish, substrate, membrane layer, thermal layer, substrate, and structure and finish layers. And structure layer is structure, concrete layer. And all these constructions should be described in this identity data, and all this data should be taken from manufacturers. So let's say from this portal, I can look for examples how these floors should look like. So this one is one of the manufacturers of insulation materials. And here we can see floor construction with sound insulation. And this is example how the construction should look like. And if I open it, here are all the layers, like in my example. Plastering layer, precast slab layer, substrate layer for pipings, sound insulation, membrane layer, concrete layer, and glue and finish layer for wood or other finish materials. And here we have some sound insulation parameters and all the thicknesses of all the layers. So beginning engineers and architects should not create their own layers and constructions. All this should be taken from the catalogs, from manufacturers, and all this data should be filled here. The manufacturer name, the URL code. So in this case, if I am taking this example, so I just copy the link and put the link in this location. The link is here. Type comments. So if I go back to the page and I can select the name, go back to Revit and type comments is like this one. And type comments, so the model code is this one, so BT06. And type mark can be used the same because it's short name, so I can use also for the type name. And if I use the type name, so in this case, I should use the same type name here, BT06. So to separate, I will use small dash. So all of the data should be linked. And manufacturers, manufacturer only of insulation is PAROC. All manufacturers of slabs and other materials are different manufacturers. So in this case, you can write PAROC, and other manufacturers which is used in this floor construction can be provided here. And for description, we put technical parameters, the thickness, the layers, the insulation, or other parameters should be applied in this location. And also for the image, I can just go here and click on this file or this PDF file and zoom in and make a nice screenshot. And go back to Revit and select screenshot and add additional one, add. And can paste the link. Okay, maybe it's not created, so I go to pictures and select the link. So now I have nice image which explains the structure construction of this element. And I click OK. Okay, so I showed the example. Okay, so next part is for the slabs. So to have nice representation of these floor plans, I will need also a plan for typical floor. So this one is on floor 00. So let's open 00, work in progress. And let's make duplicate. Floor. So in this floor view, I will also turn off all the elements which I don't need. So I will select floors, and also select walls. Also, I see some hidden parameters, so I can select all and remove all the overrides. In annotation category, let's leave this. Import categories, and for the filters, I will turn off all the filters and click OK. Now I have nice view, architecture. And for view range, I will change view range so I can see below the ground. So minus, let's say 100. Let's change parameter. Okay, minus 100 and minus 500. So cut plane maybe 0 and maybe 1 meter above. Okay, also maybe I need some additional objects like structure columns, structure framing, structure beam systems. Yeah, should be enough. Now to see everything, I can just turn wireframe mode. So now I see my columns. I see all my constructions, floors. And let's see if I am in correct level. Okay, so it's in this level. So I can select some floors. Okay, so this one. Now on this floor, I will use a structure tool and beams, and I will create a beam system or just simple beams. So for the beams, I will use just simple beam, 200, 400, and I can put beams by using automated tool. So I can put tags automatically and create beams on the grid lines. So the program will find all the gaps and will create automatically beams on this location. So it recognizes the columns and will create the beams between columns. And beam system is created automatically. So if I go to the 3D model and I make cross section of this part, so I can see the beams created here. Of course, my beams looks a little bit maybe too small for such big building. So if I want to use different beam types, and of course my beams are now starting from level first level, so I need to select all the beams and move beams down. I can move beams down by Z offset value by putting the value here, minus 320, and all the beams go down, and floor elements or slabs will be connected and put it on here. Or I can change start level offset and end level offset and move the beams down from the level. So both techniques is suitable. In this case, I will use this by moving Z coordinate down. And of course, my floor should be on the top of the bearing part of the wall. So I go to the floors and I should check it out here. Maybe turn on color mode. Okay. And I see some attach this part to my bearing part of the wall. So now I don't see any layers. So in this case, I will click finish and I will make additional cut. Save the project, of course. I can use, yes, attach. So it automatically will attach all the walls in my floor to the bottom of the floor. So I will not need to do it manually. And for this example, I will use minus 100 and apply. So now it should cut all the layers. Okay, maybe I need to go lower, -500 here, and maybe -200 here. Still not. So let's check an example. Okay, so it means my walls was moved completely down. So in this case, I will use opposite and move here, let's say 50. Okay, so now I see my wall construction, and I can select floor, double tap on the floor, and on this side is okay, on this side is not okay. So I use align tool and align it so it goes to this position. And on this side, I don't see any layers. So I will make assumption what this line from the grid line should be 100 millimeters. And I click finish. Okay, let's attach. So now we have attachment like you see here. So the wall was moved down. So it means I have this gap here. So it's not correct, and I need to fix this gap. So this wall should be maybe detached, updated. So I will use detach tool and detach it, and we'll use different techniques. So the top wall I will attach to the base. And click OK. So now the layers are nicely connected. And this lower wall, I will just use modify, join, and I will join it by just using simple join tool. And I will join it to the floor above. And here I have foundation wall with insulation. And this wall is upper layer wall with also insulation. And here my concrete part is nicely joined. And if I turn on realistic mode, so I can see that all my layers is nicely connected and I don't have mistakes here. So bearing floor part is on the bearing wall, insulation is connected with insulation, and of course, such mistakes should be avoided. Correct representations should look like this one. Okay, so let's make a break. And after break, we will come and I will speak about roof constructions and a little bit more about slabs. So let's save the progress. Let's stop our clock.